because they were in Asia. So the default was Michael Jackson Thriller. So I said, if we do something in Asia and in Singapore, I better do something more gusty with something with Asian music, right, and so on.
Was it the same dance moves?
Sorry?
Was it the same dance moves?
Similar. We try our best to kind of synchronize as much as we can. So the idea around this was to demonstrate that robotics is already here, right, and practical uses of robotics are already in place for customers and so on. So we've seen this in concierge, and actually in one client who was quite gutsy, they actually took this and linked it up with a queue management system to generate a queue number for a customer in the bank counters as well. Overall. Okay, so that's the first kind of setup. The second one, if you can step across here to the grass patch here. This is actually, I won't have a physical running demo, but it's more an articulation of a platform that we really a concept around data analytics, or more likely than not a predictive data analytics. And I'll explain why I say that. So this customer of ours, right, and you'll figure out which customer it is after a while, is a plantation owner in Indonesia. The land size that they have in Indonesia is about 7 times the plantation size, or the size of Singapore. So imagine the vast space that they have to grow trees and so on. They came to Accenture with a very simple problem statement. How do I make sure that the growth of my trees are well kind of managed, right, overall? They used to take months, if not years, to identify where trees are actually kind of crowding out, or there are trees that have died along the way, and so on and so forth. So what we did was we went through a series of design thinking workshops and discussions and so on, and we came up with these ideas of flying drones. So we came up with a fixed wing drone idea. The drones flew out for 1 kilometer per sortie, comes back. We pull out the SD card, put it into a handheld tablet, enrich the data, beam the data back up to the cloud, and we use Microsoft Azure Cloud in this context. The data is pulled into a command center dashboard, and what we then do is we put in a very simple mapping, GIS mapping technology to overlay against the map and the photos that's been taken. So anywhere that you see they are very much red in color, means that the crown of the trees are coming very close to each other. So it means over the years, they compete against one another. If you keep it around for much longer, some of the trees will be suboptimal in terms of their growth pattern. So the idea here is to get the farmers to get out to these areas, chop off some of the trees. Hopefully they don't do the slash and burn method, but to remove some of the trees to let the rest survive along the way. Then there are areas that are very white or very sparse. Now those areas will be ones where some of the earlier sapling might have died. So you want to bring new trees and plant them in those areas to optimize the use of land. So what used to take months and years to identify and to diagnose and to rectify is reduced down to weeks and months, right, to actually operate. In fact, on the operational level, when my consultants go out and prep with the users on the ground, they are actually doing a confirmation flight now, right? So rather than just send the farmers out because it takes time and effort and so on, they said, let me be doubly sure and fly another round just to be perfectly clear on what I need to do in that particular location. So the whole idea wasn't about, happy flying drones and all, but it's about using data and getting data to provide insights and doing what we call predictive analytics, right? Using data and insights and software accordingly. Okay, so very simple example, but very, very impactful, I thought. Well covered now by the European team. It is one where I point to the grapes. It came out with a very standardized kind of view. If you look at this screen here on what we've done with the store, it's an implementation that we did together with Microsoft, Avanade, and Intel in this company called Coop Italia. So sort of like an NTUC co-op, right, where we work together with them and build out what we call supermarket of the future. And this was launched actually in 2015 with a very simple kind of gamer box that you see out here, which is the Kinect box, right? It measures actually the hand movement. It looks at the items on the store, right? And why they do this is so that they can have a very consistent digital kind of display in the supermarket. And this particular Kinect box is $50 a pop. So relatively cheap, easy to roll out across all the counters. And you saw the neatness in terms of the digital kind of space. And in Italy, I think wine is kind of a big thing. So it's usually tagged against wine labels, standardizing basic information like price, the type of elements and age and so on, vintage of the wines and so on. So we have done this, and this was actually showcased in the Expo in Milan in 2015. So way before Amazon Go and all the Alibaba special kind of stores came out, we were already piloting a lot of these smart supermarket ideas, right, in the economy.
Is it operational?
It is live. It has been live for, I think, at least 2 to 3 years now, overall. Okay. So next space, if you have space, which I used to explain blockchain. In fact, this corner, we have squeezed in 2 blockchain demo, right? I'll run this demo and I'll show you the one behind on Ubin. And blockchain is kind of a pretty interesting concept for most people, but it takes a while for people to grapple what is really blockchain and what is this immutability that we are talking about. So we came out with this example, which is based on a real life example that we have seen in the US, right, on what we call a logistics blockchain, right. So if you look at the traditional ecosystem on how information is being stored, the information typically go quite sequentially from one point to another, and it's stored in a single kind of database or single ledger, right. So unless you're granted access to the ledger, you'll know that the data will be accessible with one person or one login and so on. So in a blockchain ecosystem, the information is typically spread out, right, in a distributed ledger, in such a way that the transparency of the data and